Might as well go live. Welcome back. Okay. So, last night, I got as far as this. So when you swipe to the right, you can keep walking, but unfortunately you can walk off into space. I want to be able to stop that. So I'm going to flip things around. Oh, that's not so good. Because that's out of bounds on the screen. So yeah, this is going to be an index out of bounds over here. So what I'm going to have to do is I'm going to have to check and make sure that this is valid map data. So instead of map, what can I do? Okay, let me think about this. So what I want to do is I want to stop the player from moving first. So let's do that. So let's go in the game controller here. So you see that we've got set current position, now we've got block renderer, all that kind of stuff. So what I want to do is I want my action. Maybe I want to create an action and then execute that action if it's capable of doing it. So I want to say try and move east, and if you can, I think I've painted myself in a corner the way I've done this way, but okay. So what if I have, okay, here's what I'm going to do. I'm going to create a function var func equals x plus 1. Why is it not letting me do that? Can I not do it that way? Func. This is going to cause conflicts now. No, hopefully not. And it takes in an integer and it returns an integer. Okay, whatever. So that is that, and then I want to say perform move func, and then inside perform move I then want to do my function. So I want to say or do I? Okay, maybe I don't want to have that. Maybe I want to have class vector I2 public int x public int y and then I want to say vector I2 current, let's call it player position equals new vector I2, and then we had x equals 50, y equals 45. Okay, so that's just this integer two-component vector that I've got here. Could probably get away with a tuple, but I don't think this version of C#'s got tuples. Let me just have a look. Yeah. so we've got the, okay, it's named anyway. So we got our player position here. So what I'm going to say is this is going to take in 2 vectors, and then the function is going to return the new vector plus 1. So that's going to be new vector I2, and it's going to be x plus 1 y. Oops, it's not going to be x plus 1, it's going to be vec. So that's going to be vec dot x plus 1 vec dot y. Okay, so vector is going to be that there. Why is it? Oh, because it doesn't let me do that. Vector I2 x equals y, x equals x, y equals y, and then I will do the same thing in, where's my function up here? Yeah, so instead of that, I'm just going to do 50, 45. Okay, and then my function changes to being this. So that's my function, and then I'm going to say block runner set current position, and that's going to be so I'm going to check to see if the map, so I need to have map out here now, so I need to have int map, let's do map, because I want to be able to read the map now, so I want to check and see that if the map is valid. So if move is valid, and then I'm going to pass in func. I'm going to say current player position, I think I call it player position equals func. Invoke and player pause. So I'm going to call that function. In fact, I don't even need to invoke, I just need that there. I just need to pass in that function there. And the move is valid. I am going to say vector I2 temp equals func current player position, and then that's going to return. So I could probably get away with just doing it as a, maybe I don't need it as that, maybe I just need it as an action where it returns it. No, I need a function. I just don't need it to, I don't need input. Can I get away with that? I think I can. No, I think I need to, yeah, I can't get away with that. Okay, I need to pass it in. Oh well, whatever, doesn't matter. So that's valid, and I can say if map temp.x temp.y equals 0. Actually, I can just do return equals 0. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to make the floor 0 and make the other thing 1, and those are going to be the obstacle ones. So I can move these here, move them down beyond start. So my move is valid is just, it's just taking the existing position and then adding the value to it. So what it means though is that up here, all I need to do is change these values, and then everything else, I don't need to do any other checks in here, because all the checks are done inside here. So set the position is now going to be always going to be player position.x, player position.y. So what I'm doing is I'm creating effectively like a single point of failure. So if anything goes wrong, I just change one of these. So if something goes wrong with this function, I change that. If something goes wrong with this function, I change that. That's the two places where the change can possibly happen. And then everything else up here is just calling those functions. So in this one here, instead of minus minus, I'm going to do -1. And instead of that here, that is going to be y -1. And the next one is going to be y +1. And this will effectively move to the next position. So I will do that as player position.x and player position.y. And that should be it. And now, when we move, the player should get blocked by space. Oh, we need to make it opposite. That's why. So if I move floor tile into space and then flip that around. So floor tile is that. So 0 is we always move, and then space or whatever else it is. If it's non-zero, then we don't move into that position. So I need to now go into my block renderer. No, my map generator, and then change that from a 1 to a 0. So it's kind of opposite day in there that says if it's 0, then you want to make it a 1, otherwise you want to make it a 0. So what I might do is I will do const int floor equals 0, const int what's it complain about? Okay, I'm just going to use it, and obstacle equals 1. So obstacle equals 1 and floor equals 0. So it's a little bit clearer now what my intent is. So now, fingers crossed. So if I go up to here and I move one more, it won't let me move anymore, but it will let me move the full oh, I'm going the wrong way. Yeah, I think we might need to change the left and right. It seems counterintuitive to me. But it's working though. So you're blocked by the map, which is good, which is what we want. Okay. And where are we? So block with the map. Get rid of this bit here. And then I want to have I want to have different blocks for different obstacles. So that can leave it later. But what I want to do, yeah, that's what I want to do, is I want to stop this from crashing out. So this requires map generator. I think we've got our kind of things split that around. This, the game controller, it does need to know about the renderer, but the renderer should know if it's a valid square or not. So I'm going to have a public function here which says public equal square is valid, and x at 1, and then I'm going to take that here. Temp.x, temp.y, and I'm going to put this up here, and I'm going to say if x is less than 0, or y is less than 0, or x is greater than, and it's going to be the width of this, so it's going to be 90, so greater than 89, or y is greater than 89, return false. Otherwise, I'm going to return the x and y coordinate. X and y, okay. And then I am going to pass this in to my my function here. So the first time is awake. So I'm going to call public void initialize, and it's going to take in what's it going to take in? It's going to take in this here, but I don't know whether to make that an action or a delegate. I think the problem is I can't return anything from an action. Actually, you know what? I do want to make it a function because I want to take in two things. So I want to do function func, and then I want to take in an int, and then I want to return a bool. Square validation, and then I'm going to call this, I'm going to put this up here, validate square is valid. Okay, so I'm going to say square is valid equals square validation. So I'm passing in my function that takes in two integers and a Boolean value, which strangely enough is two integers and a Boolean value. So we've got two integers here and we've got a Boolean value. So I want to pass this in to my initialize. So inside my start here, my block renderer, I'm going to do block renderer dot initialize initialize. Why does that not let me do that? No. Renderer dot initialize, and then I pass in that. And so now I can use square is valid, and I don't need to know, I don't need to have a reference in here to there. I'm just to the game controller. I just have the function that I'm interested in. So I can check here and say if not square is valid, and then I can do current position dot x. Where is I getting current position from? Oh, okay, from in there. X plus x, comma current position dot y plus y, and then just continue, and then that will stop any error messages, because it'll just keep coming out. So it just won't draw that square. So when we now go to the edge of the screen, so I'm going to go to the edge of the screen just now. Where are we? Okay, over here. No. Whoops. Update map. Why is update. Set current position is there, so I need to do this first. Initialize. Well, maybe what we do is we pass in map and all of this, all of that, and then we get rid of that. And then what we can do inside initialize is we do validation, and then we do int the map, and then that would be int x, int y. So we have map equals the map, and then we have set current position x, y, and then everything's done inside the same function. We don't need to worry about anything. So hopefully I get this right. And then that doesn't look like it's right. Is square valid? Square is valid. Oh, okay, that's why. Okay, so square is valid. Okay, so that's going to be return true, and then this is going to be if square is valid, return that, return true. So if the square is valid, return whether it's 0 or not, so that's the move is valid. And then for this one here, we just want to return false if it's outside of the viewing area. Because it could be the point where we get to the end of the world and it's like one block away, but you can still, as a player, move to the outside of it. So if I keep moving over here, how do we do this? Yeah, I think it was way over here. Yeah, so it crashed out there. Okay, that's good. So it's, yeah, it crashed out here and then it just stopped working. So now that's working. Okay. Alright, so now what we want to do is we want to do some obstacles in here. Okay. Move this over here. Okay. And okay, we could probably make this a little bit more efficient as well, but it's okay. Actually, we could make this more efficient because we probably don't need to do this. We could probably get away with doing that. We don't need to even assign that value, you can just put that in straight there. And there you go, we're reducing lines. It's always good to reduce lines in code. And get rid of that line there. Okay, maybe I should spend some time in the graphics. Alright, so I had to think about the graphics, and I'm convinced that having this in a spaceship isn't not that I'm going to get the best graphics in the world anyway, but yeah, it's not going to be the best here. So what I want to do is I want to just think about what how I want to play this. So that's scrolling that way, this scrolls this way. So if I'm in it there, I'm going to scroll that way. Let me try it backwards. See if it feels better. The only problem is you're going to shoot backwards, though. That's the problem. So if I want to go west, I want to fire at that. Or maybe what I can do is I can find out where the because you can only you can only fire in 4 directions as well. I'm going to keep that restriction. So you can only really fire like at most to here, and it's going to pick an enemy in that line. So maybe I can get the firing done. Okay, maybe I can do that. That might be an idea. Let's count how many steps you take, though. So I want to have a game controller there, but I also want to have that's an inside environment. So I don't want that inside environment. I'll just lump everything inside here. So I'm going to call this one helpers, and I'm going to dump that inside there. And then I better close these actually, or else it starts to complain. And then I want to have the game itself. So the game is going to be game controller, and then player movement, and then map generator, block generator. That's good enough. That's environment stuff. So player movement, I want to have another class in here, and I'm going to call this player stats. Statistics, and I don't want to have that there, and I want to have public int steps taken. So every time the player moves, we add 1 to their steps. So that's going to go inside the game controller. So I'm going to have stats equals to player statistics. Now what I could do is I could create like a a command, and then I could do these kind of things, but I'm not gonna do that. I'm just gonna do it inside here. So so every time they move, square is valid, perform move. So if move is valid, player position equals that, and then I want to do stats dot steps plus plus. I want to add 1 to the number of steps they've taken. because a lot of the random generation is going to be done with the number of steps that you take. So the more steps you take, the more chance you have of encountering baddies. But I also need to know, like every 10 steps, you need to do that. So let's have a counter as well. So add class behavior game rescue time counter. And this is going to be 8 days, 8 hours, 8 minutes. So minutes is going to start at 59, hours is going to start at 23, and days is going to start at 24. So every second is a minute. So that'll be 23. 24 hours. Okay, well, we'll figure that out in just a sec. So the number of days you have, so every second it ticks down, so that's going to be a minute, and then you've got hours on top of that. Let's make it 23 hours. You've got 24 hours. I think it was 24 hours, which basically equates to like 28, 24 minutes. So you've got 24 hours and 59. That's almost that. So that's 23 hours 59 seconds. Okay. So for every minute is 1 second in game. So I want to do void start. Start. And then that's an AI enumerator. While hours is greater than 0 and hours greater than 0 hours is greater than 0 return wait for seconds 1 minutes running. So I'm going to subtract minutes. If minutes equals 0, then minutes equals 59. Actually, then hours minus. If hours equals -1, running equals false. Yield break. I don't need to do that. Else minutes equals 59, and that's it. So now we're going to have public pool running set, and then change that from running true. Actually, I'm going to set that inside awake. Actually, thinking on the hoof here, I think I want to have that in here and then automatically set that to be true inside there, so there's no confusion. So while running is that. Subtract 1 from the minutes. If the minutes equals 0, Then subtract errors is -1. If errors equals -1, then stop running. Otherwise, set the minutes to be that, and then keep going. Just keep going, Wayne. And now I want to have public int hours, return hours, minute. Okay, so this is going to be our rescue time counter thing, and we're going to do a map between the two values, and I kind of want to do some trickery here, but I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to do some kind of weird mapping. I've had a thought about doing like MVVM like tutorial, like not a tutorial, but a kind of how I would implement it in Unity. But I'm going to do a kind of light-ish version of it. So I'm just going to call this binding, and then add, and then class, and I'm going to call this text binder, for lack of a better word. And okay, and then text binder. And there, and it's going to be a mono behavior, and I want to have this implement I notify property changed. Okay, so and I want to implement that method there, and then I want to say property changed. So after I tick this, I want to say property changed hours, property changed minutes. And I want to say that is equal to, did I do this again? I don't think I can, because it won't let me. I guess it's not the right version. This hours, this minutes. What? Oh, property change event args. Hours. Property change event args minutes. Okay. Now I'm kind of borrowing things from here. Okay, and then inside my text binder, I'm going to grab the start here. I'm going to say component, actually be mono behavior script equals get components mono behavior reach script in scripts. And what we're going to do here is I'm going to go through all the scripts here and then find out which one has a notify property changed on here. Now I'm building this myself, so I know there's only going to be one on here, but you never know. Actually, you know what? I'm not even going to do that. I'm going to say public. I don't think, maybe I can't do this. I don't think I can do this, but we'll see. Object. We'll call this target, and then awake. We'll have public string property, and then we'll have property info, which is reflection, and then we'll call it property info. And then we'll have the text box that this is a member of. So text, I think text is what it's called. Use the engine text. So we'll say text equals get component text. And we'll also require that component as well. So if this is the text binder, it should be text binding actually. Require component type of text. So we need that text binding and call it text binding. And then we'll do target.getType.getProperty, and then the name of the property, which is property, and it's got to be binding, so it's got to be public, and it's got to be an instance variable. So that gets us our property info equals that, and then what we can do is we can do target.property change plus equals that, and then that gives us our property changed. And then what we can do is we can say text.text equals property info. Actually, but yeah, we'll do that just now. Property info dot get value, and then the object, which is target, and then null dot to string. But what we want to do is we want to make sure that that is the right value. So if e dot property name equals property, if it's not equal to that, return. So we return quickly out of there if it's not the same. Okay, and this is just a kind of quick and dirty kind of text binding-y type thing. I'm hoping this works. We'll see. You know, you never know. And so this is our rescue time counter. Okay, so I'm going to put the so I'm going to create a new object here. Rescue time counter and rescue time counter, and then inside my canvas I want to create a panel, really. Panel, and my panel is going to be kind of over here-ish, somewhere over here. Far too big for the canvas. Roughly that size there. Yeah. Something like that. Okay, and then my panel is going to have, actually I'm going to have the canvas panel is stretch. I think that's okay. Yeah, that's fine. That works. And then I'm going to have child components in here for text, and that's going to be the hours. And then I am going to have my text, and then it's going to be for minutes. Okay. So I should probably made a copy of these, but never mind. Get them consistent. Okay, so font size, I'm going to make that 28, and I'm going to make that one 28, just as a sort of temporary measure. And then for this one here, I'm going to add text binding, and then yeah, it's not going to let me do that. Okay, I'm just going to have to do that as a component game object thing. Then text binding. I still want it to be something though. You know what I'm going to do? I am going to create a base class. Okay. So for my binding, I'm going to create add component model. So I'm going to create a folder here called component model, and I'm going to create a class here called property changed behavior. So property change behavior, and then I'm going to implement identify property change, and that's going to implement that interface. It's going to have nothing else in here. It's going to have no collections, but it is going to have a protected void on property changed string name of property, and then I'm going to say if property change not equal to null, property changed this, and then new property args name of property. Okay, so that's my property change behavior. So now my rescue time counter is now a property change behavior thing, and instead of doing this, I can now say on property changed, and I don't need any of this stuff. I just need to put that there and that there. I get rid of component model. So now this is the exact same class, it's just as a property change behavior. But now what this means is I can now put this inside here, because now it needs a property change behavior, which means I can now drag and drop stuff into it. Whew. Okay. Alright, so now you can see the target there. So rescue time counter is right. So I'm going to do that to there. And that is hours for the property. And then for the minutes, I'm going to do the exact same thing, except I need to do text binding. And then I'm going to do the same thing again. I'm going to drag that object across, and I'm going to change that to minutes. So now when we run it, everything should be fine. There we go. So 29, 23, 56, 54, 53, 52, all that kind of stuff. So that means that we can sort of abstract the values that we want to put inside our objects up here. So we don't need to rely too much on you know, having sort of complicated code behind to change those values. And it's very, very simple. It's not foolproof, this, but you're building the game yourself. It's not like you're shipping out this as content. There are MVVM binding-y type stuff out there, but this is sort of quick and kind of dirty. So hopefully when this gets to 0, this should tick over to 22 minutes. So I'm just going to check that. And then that should be our rescue time finished. Hopefully. 2, 1, 0. Okay. Yeah, good enough. I think it ticked over there in the wrong bit, but whatever. Yeah, it feels like you're firing. It feels like you're moving in the wrong direction. Okay. So art, and I'm going to create a folder here called fonts. And I'm going to go to Google. And ooh, Oswald, that's nice. something kind of computery though. Maybe monospace. Oh, that's nice. I like that. Yeah, that's quite nice. Oh, that's nice as well. Oh. Okay, I think we found a winner. I'm going to download that. Show in folder. Awesome. Okay. So I just need two. Show in Explorer. Regular. And then we'll import this as font size 72. Smooth, dynamic, apply. Okay. So now this is going to have this font applied to it. And I'm going to make that 36. 72. 72. Sounds good. Maybe 84 actually. 84. And then that's going to be 23. And it's going to be aligned that way. And this is 59. No, that's not right. 84, that's going to be 59 there. And we align that way, but we also need separator. And the separator is going to be aligned to the middle, and it's going to have this, but it's not going to have any binding. Remove component. And its entire duty is to basically go between these two, so that it looks like it's one cohesive bit of text. I've got that right in the field there. So yes, that now looks like a clock. So I'm going to create an empty panel thing, and I'm just going to call this rescue timer UI. Call it that, and then I'm going to move all of these. Actually, the rescue timer UI, I want to take the copy component. No, I don't want to do that. I want to do that for the separator. So copy component, and then I want to paste component. Paste component values, and then what I want to do is I want to take all of these and make them children of that. So now when I move this as 1, it moves everything, and then I can see that it's all centered and stuff. So now the game okay, and then we have UI text, and we'll call this time till rescue. So we'll call that time till rescue. And we'll change that to that regular font. Make that 28. 36. Yeah. And we'll make it centered and centered in there. And pop that down there. Okay. So everything's kind of separated out there. Right. So that's that done. And when we come and do this later on, we can actually make this a little bit easier for us. So our player statistics, what we could do is yeah, we could have that as okay. Let me think of player statistics. Title rescue at the bottom. Just needs to be a bit tighter. Title rescue. Okay. So every time you take, I want it to take, every time you take 10 steps, you lose energy. So if we go back to running out of power here. So you're on a ship, aliens attacking, maybe not aliens attacking, roguelike I think, set in a deep space, on a ship, you're alone. Well, you're alone, we got that one right. You have little or no power, so here's the goals. So you need to keep the radio on, which has got a distress call, so that's crystals. You need to keep the engines going, and you need to keep the shields up. Okay, so radio, energy. So I think this is going to be, I'm kind of going back to, I had No Man's Sky up the top there as one of the sort of influences of this, and I think what I'm going to do is create a kind of roguelike No Man's Sky, because I have no original thought. It's true. So, okay, just checking the stream there, making sure it's still there. Yep, no one's watching. Right. So little or no power. So really, it's not really changed that much. So it's not on a ship, on deserted planet. Set in deep space on the so it's set on it's set on a deserted planet. You're alone. You have little or no power. You need to keep the radio on. Keep the engines going. You need to keep the oxygen in your suit. So some kind of CO2 thing from plants. So we'll have plants dotted around. But every time you take like 10 steps, we should take some oxygen off of you. So what I think we should do is we should get one of these goals done. That should be our goal in the next couple of hours, is to get one of these goals done, because so I don't have much time to spend, and as usual in Ludum Dare, I tend not to have a lot of time to spend at Ludum Dare, and people like they spend 24 hours, 48 hours, whatever it is, order pizza, make a party of it, all that kind of stuff. I unfortunately don't have time to do that, so I just use this weekend any spare time I have, which for me is a couple hours. So let's get the oxygen in the suit. So every time, okay, so every time I want to have an event that trips when this gets taken out. So I'm going to kind of do this in a kind of clever way. I don't want it to be, I want it to have another event on here, but I don't want to burden the game logic with all of this. All I want to do is I want to have steps less than that. So what I might do is I might move player stats to being a property change behavior. And if it's a property change behavior, that means that I can subscribe to it. And if the subscription changes, okay, I think this might be a way to go. Okay. So if I have, I think, right, I want to have, scroll this down a bit. Okay. Let's do require component type of player statistics. And then this is going to be inside my start. That there, and then my player statistics property change modern behavior. Okay, so now I have private int steps. So now I have this problem here, so I've got to do get return steps, set steps equals value on property changed steps. So it's a little bit of a hassle, but it's the price we pay. And then what I want to do, maybe I want to be super duper clever and have something that listens to it rather than have a binding. So inside my component model I have this change behavior. Maybe I want to have something that listens to that change behavior. Okay. It's starting to get complicated. Maybe I don't want to do that. But I do want to have, so I have my binding there, which isn't really part of that. In fact, I'm going to move that out. I'm going to move text binding into the component model. I'm going to move binding into there, and I'm going to move text binding into there. Okay. And then inside the game, I'm going to have my oxygen counter. But my oxygen is actually bound to my thing here. So I've got public int oxygen. Get return oxygen. So let's just call it oxygen. Return int ox. Set equals 0. This is kind of redundant, but whatever. Set oxygen equals value on property changed oxygen. And then void awake. I actually want to listen to the property changed events for this. So I want to say property changed and I'm going to just change that to this. do that, and put that in there, and then I'm going to say if e dot property name equals steps, print oxygen, and then I'm going to say private void decrim oxygen if steps mod 10 equals 0, so it's every 10th step, oxygen minus minus. So I'm going to take away oxygen from there. If oxygen is greater than 0, subtract it. So I don't want to subtract it from there if it's not changed. And then, so that's our property change behavior. So now that we have a property change behavior with a number of steps and all that kind of stuff, we can do the same thing for our oxygen. So our oxygen, I'm going to have inside my panel here, I'm going to have a UI component, and it is going to be an image, sure, do an image, and this is going to be our oxygen. Oh, it will be when it's finished. It's not much now. It's just it's just a block just now, but it will be. I promise you, it will look. It will look like oxygen. So that's our oxygen levels there, and it is. It doesn't have a sprite on it yet, so I'm going to put in bad happened in there just now. And you can see that it's changed now to image type simple, so I'm going to change that to, I think, filled is what it is, and I'm going to change that to horizontal, and fill origin is the left, fill amount is 1, and that's going to change that from there to there. So we need to get a converter in here now as well. So I want to convert that fill amount, because we're going to be using this quite a bit. And so I'm going to use this for the other gauges as well. So in my component model here, it's okay, I think. Yeah, sure. I don't know. I don't think I missed anything. I think it's okay. Alright, so what I want to do is I want to have something in here called image fill binding, and our text binding is going to have this value in here. So what we could do is we could probably get add class binding base behavior. So we'll have that there, and we'll call this an abstract class, because I don't want people mucking about with this. And then what we'll do is we'll have binding base behavior. So we don't need this, this, or this. That goes in here. And then we don't need this, or this. And this is going to be protected override void on awake. And that's going to do that. And then protected abstract void on awake. That there, and then this is going to be protected abstract void on property changed property name, and this is going to be all of this. That's going to be inside there. Model, and then so you don't need to worry about these kind of things. You don't need to worry about the sender, all that kind of stuff. Although we'd probably end up having to pass that in, but whatever. Property changed. Okay, and then that is going to be property, and then property info set value. So that is going to be I'm going to create a function here, and I want to convert that to things. So I want to have protected version here. So that's private, now that's protected. Bind value. Actually, get bind value. Get bound value. And I'm going to do convert dot change type, and then the value is going to be info dot value target null. Typo E. Okay, so that's going to get bound value, and then instead of all of this, we now do text equals get bound value. So we get it back as a string. Okay. We may have to redo some things in here. I might get lucky. I don't know. Just picked everything up, so it's still got those values. So hopefully this should all just still work. Nope. Null reference. One property changed on awake. Oh, because that's not doing that there. Let's do on awake. So that's not getting set up. So this should fire. We may have some issues with the timing. No, we're good to go. Okay, so everything's fine there. So now we've got that. What I want to do is I want to add a converter now. So there are converters as well. So I'm going to create another folder here called converter. And then I'm going to say it's not a mono behavior, but it's going to be a value converter. So this is going to be integer normalized integer converter. Okay. So this is going to be iValue converter, which doesn't exist. It's not good. Okay, so I'll create one. It is iValue converter. Pretty sure it is. Okay, I'm just going to create one. Add class, and we call it that. Value. That's all I want it for, is just that converter, so that I can then pass this into something else. And so this one here is to convert that value into there. So I'm going to do, I'm going to convert that from, basically this is going from 0 to 100 to 0 to 1. That's what I want it for. So I'm going to say int current equals, actually let's just do it, let's say I want a float, converted equals int dot parse value dot to string. That's good enough. Divided by 100f. Turn converted. That's it. That's all I want to do, because what I want to happen is I want it to go into my binding here. So I have my binding base behavior, and I'm going to have a protected t get bound value t iValue converter, and then I'm going to say object intermediate equals property info converter dot convert, and then it's going to be property info dot get value target null. So that's the intermediate one, and then I want to do return, and then it's going to be all of this. But instead of that value there, it's going to be my intermediate value, because I want to be able to convert it between a value between 0 and 1. So every time I take a step, I want it to decrement the oxygen. And maybe it's every 5 steps. But we can change that. And all of this is because I don't want to write all this crappy glue code that takes all my stats and everything and then makes a UI. I just hate doing that. So I have my rescue timer there, I've got my oxygen here, and then inside my game controller I need to have my player statistics. That's got to be added there. So every time I add one to there, that's fine. And then I want to have an image fill binding. So this is going to be a property change behavior. And override. To override anything, this one. What do I need to do in this one? No, I don't want that. I want it to be a text, but I want it to be a binding base. I want it to be a binding base. On property changed. And then I want to have override on awake. Image. Image equals get component image. And then on property changed, I'm going to say, I mean, I could actually do that inside here rather than doing all these checks inside here. What I could do is go to binding behavior and then say if property equals e dot property name, do that. I think that's a better way of doing it rather than going inside here and then having to do all this stuff in here as well. So my image fill binding, I need an I-value converter equals new, and then this is going to be my normalized converter. So it's just going to be that instant there. And then I'm going to say image.fill amount equals, and then I do get bound value. It's a float, I think. And then I pass in my converter. And that will then take my converter value and then get it displayed as get it changed to the filter value between 0 and 100. It'll now become 0 and 1. And I will then get my image fill binding and I will add it to my oxygen. Image fill binding, okay. And then I've got my target, which is my property change, which is going to be my floor center. So player statistics, and then the property I'm interested in is oxygen, which is oxygen. So every time I take a step, let's reduce it by 1 every time you take a step. So the property player statistics. So oxygen. Let's just comment this out for just now. So every time I take a step, it's going to take 1 off of the oxygen. So every time we move, then it should just work. And you see that's what's happening, is every time you move, it takes 1 off the oxygen. So I don't rip you off over there, but as soon as you can move, you start doing that. So none of this, you don't have to do any of this code behind garbage and spend ages doing this. You can just wait until you're let me talk wait. You can just go right ahead and build these binding components here, and it will make your job super easy. Like there's nothing inside here that says, oh, and by the way, go and update the UI. Like this code here, all of this code here, there's no UI elements in it at all. It's just purely data with a couple of like checks and things in there, but that's about it. There's no UI in there. And similarly inside the text binding, there's very little UI inside there, but there's very little go get this value over here, because all of that's done inside our binding base behavior, which does all the sort of hard work. So we don't need to worry about any of these sort of bits of glue code kicking around all over the place. And it means we can build our game, our like engine super fast. So that's the sort of goal there. And also, we can change these values as well. So we don't need to have that as, let's say we have that as filled, and we change that to radial 360. Now, I've changed it back to every 10 steps, but every 10 steps, you can see that we start losing a slice of oxygen from here. And we haven't changed anything, we just changed that one thing there. So it's a good thing to do. Okay, so what I want to do is maybe I want to have that as a background and then put some nice colors in it, that kind of stuff. Okay, so that's not too bad. That was, oh wow, that was half an hour. Huh, okay. So that was half an hour and we implemented that bit. Okay. So the radio is going to have a similar thing, but it's maybe going to, like, maybe these tick down at different ratios. Okay, so that's good though. So we got oxygen in there. So you need to find stuff in your suit. So okay, so if I do 7, okay, let me reset here. There you go. Back in a tick. And I'm back. Back. Right. Welcome back, folks. All one of me. Alright, where are we up to? Last thing. Okay, I was going to do this. Alright, so the tiles themselves, I need to make a decision. So I've decided I'm going to put it in a planet. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to create little bit of ground here. So I'm going to create something that's kind of dirt-like. I kind of want to make it bright though. I tend to find to use like kind of dull palettes. So maybe I don't want to use dull palettes anymore. I'm fed up using dull palettes. Okay. Bit of stone here. Oh, that's the same thing. Oh, the worst. Okay, so I want to have this one here. And maybe I want to have a darker one kind of down here-ish. Like that. And then that's going to be my kind of dots in the sand. Kind of like that. Do you like that? 10 minutes remaining. That kind of thing. So that could be my sand. So I'm going to call that sand. Now it's only 27, which means I'm going to make it 4 pixels, which is good because 4 times 27 is 108, which is my bizarre size to make everything. I don't know why I didn't use it the other way, but whatever. So that's my sand in there, and then if I go to my project, I've got my sand, so I'm going to put this as This is going to be environment. This is my environment art. And my environment art sand is going to be 4 pixels per unit, and that's good enough. I'm not going to bother with making it square and all that kind of stuff. Okay, so that's that there. So sand is now going to be, instead of my floor tile, it's going to be that, which now I have. Oh yeah, wrong. Is 4 not right? Pixels per unit, 4. Oh no. You need to be 0.25. I think it needs to be the other way. Yeah, that's not right. Also, I'm going to implement a WASD movement as well. But yeah, that's not right at all. Why is that not working? So make it 1 pixels per unit, it's going to be 4 times this. Why is that not working? So 4 pixels per unit. So 1 pixel per unit is 1 pixel per unit. 0.4 pixels. Can I go beyond that? Can I go to 0. Can I do 0.1? Why? Okay, so 0.25 is right, but unfortunately, when I render, I see what's happening. I think when I render, I'm going to the size of what the actual value is, not going to the number of pixels per unit. So I need to do some strange things inside my render behavior. Where's my render behavior? Block render. Yep. And so my sprite texture dot width. So it's going to be int width equals sprite dot texture dot width times sprite dot texture dot pixel PPU. Pixel size. Oh. Well, you know what? I know it's 108. I'm just gonna hack it in just now. 108 and 108, and in fact, I'm gonna make that a constant so that I know that it's wrong. Const int tile size equals 108. So instead of that, I'm going to put that in there. So I know that there's some bad, like constant values, sometimes you need them, but invariably you can get them from a database or calculate them in some way, but clearly I'm not doing it that way. Okay, here we go. So this is better. So here we go. Okay, so the sand's quite nice. But what I want to do is I want to be able to introduce some other elements there. So I want to have sand here, but I want to have like a kind of dark sand, so it feels like you're like on an escarpment. And so I'm going to do image mode. I want duplicate. Way below. So way below is going to be kind of the same color as this color here, and these are going to be darker as well. So I kind of want to have the same pattern as these. So what I'm going to do is I am going to merge layer, and then I'm going to do my magic wand, and then it's going to be non-contiguous, and I'm going to select all of these, and I'm going to choose a darker color, which is going to be that color there. I'm going to fill it in there, and then we do the same thing for here, and I'm going to make that a darkish color, and I'm going to do that there. Okay, and then I'm going to bring that back in, and then that's going to be a little bit nicer. Well, actually, that should be kind of that, I guess. So tolerance 16. Okay, a little bit like that. That's, yeah, that's okay. So I'll call that way below. And then we'll export that. Export, save for web legacy. And save. Call it way below. And then our game. Force center. This is way below. And way below is sand 0.25. Sand is 0.5 again, because we want to make it 4 times as big. And then our flow center, instead of space, is going to be way below. Okay. All right. So now we've got the abyss. Okay. So now I'm going to do player movement, player movement, player movement, player movement. So if that there, if input dot get button up, and then this is going to be get key up, key code dot d. That is going to be move east. So d is going to be east. Else if input dot get key up, key code dot a, game controller dot move west. You know what would be good is if I had this on here, so you could actually see what I was doing. Okay, well, I'm not very good at this Twitch thing. Oh dear. West, and then we'll do the same thing for north and south as well. So that's going to be W, and then that's going to be north, and then that's going to be S, that's going to be move south. Okay, so when we play the game now, we don't need to use the mouse and swipe and all that kind of stuff, which is kind of annoying when you're using a keyboard. So yeah, that is upside down. Yeah, it feels. Yeah, these are all wrong. Okay, so if I go to game controller, I'm going to swap these around. So that is -1, +1, +1, -1. And we might have to change this for on mobile, but seeing as how we'll be playing it mostly on PC anyway, and mobiles are nice to have, it's not really. Okay, well, X and Y was right. And okay. Okay, that looks good. There's not much variation here, but what I want to do is I want to add other obstacles in here. So the obstacle is not just necessarily white. So I want to make it, I want to have like a tree in here as well. So what I'm going to do is close some of these off. Nope. Nope. 4. There's a player for now. Save all spares. Sand is good. I want to keep sand. And I don't want that. Okay, so I want sand here. And I want to have. I want to do this as a new duplicate. I'm going to call it tree. And so tree is going to be a special thing in there. So 0 is you can walk on it. 1 is it's space, you can't get access to it. Then anything above that is a special thing, which I haven't decided what to call yet. So I'm going to create a new layer, and this layer is going to be my tree, which I'm going to freehand, and you'll see how bad an artist I actually am. So I'm going to make this kind of slightly ready. I actually feel like what's his face? Bob Ross. Yeah, I'm going to make it slightly ready. You know what you like. And I'm going to use a brush. Some phthalo blue. And I'm going to draw kind of palm tree like this. Because this is kind of how I imagine palm trees to be. And hopefully this will look like a palm tree, not like anything else. Well, it's not looking really hopeful right now. I do apologize if you've tuned in just now. It's really not what it looks like. Oh dear. And then palm trees have got kind of these kind of trunk things going up there, and then they have leafy undergrowthy typey things, palms, that's what they're called. And then it kind of goes like this. This is the worst palm tree ever, but never mind. My palm tree, and I'm enjoying myself, damn it. God, I really can't draw. It's awful. And then I want to go back to kind of here and do this kind of underground bit here to give it a kind of bit of shadow. I don't know what that is. It's a lump. It's a tree, look, it's a tree. It looks like a tree. It's awful. Sloan draws trees. Okay, I'm going to draw a tree there. And then, now that I have my tree, I can bring this in. So I'm going to do export. Save, and I'm going to call it tree, and my tree is going to go inside environment. It's going to be 0.25 y. And now, every time I do a map generation, where's my map generator? My map generator, I don't want it to be floor. I want it to be something else. So I want to do get floor or random object. Int get floor or random object. Why is that not finding that? Floor does not exist in it. Oh, because I put that up there. Whoops. I need to put it up there. Okay, so get floor or random object. So I'm going to say if random dot range 0.0f, 1.0f is greater than 85. In other words, you got like a 15% chance. I'm going to return 1. So I'm going to return 2. Sorry, it's tree. Otherwise, I'm going to return floor. Okay, which means hopefully, fingers crossed, it will look like a floor, but it means that you won't be able to walk into it. So, oh no, did I do that across there? I don't know if I did do that across there. Sand way below, and then I need to put in tree, which is going to be in here. So that's 0, 1, 2. Okay. So now, if we wander about, we should start seeing trees somewhere. Or not. Hold on a second. That's the phone. Is there anything worse? Is there anything worse than a cold caller? Rigging shot. Okay. So we got here, and there are no trees. None. I don't see any trees. Where's all my trees at? There's no trees. I've been walking for ages. Can't see anything. Well, that was a fail. Oh, greater than 85. 0. Jeez. Okay, let's try that again. Because 0 to 1 will never be greater than 85. There we go. And now we can't move beyond them. Ha 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 ha. So that's good. Oh, there's a lot of trees. It's like a forest here. Okay. There's way more trees than I thought there would be. 85%, really? And so, okay, well, this is, we're getting there. I mean, it's, you know, it's a game. It's a really, really horrible looking game, but it kind of reminds me of Rebel Star. It's kind of sort of forerunner to XCOM. You know, that kind of window in the middle. Sorry, this is really annoying, this. I do apologise. I was getting into the game there. So it'd be nice if we had like a little map as well. So maybe we can do a mini map. That would be nice to have. Let's put that in the list. Nice to haves. Make it mobile. Mini map. So we'll add that to the mini map there, and I'll save that to. Okay, so this is our sort of ideas pad. So done the there, and then maybe I'm gonna make that 90. So give it like a less than 10% chance of success, because there seems to be a lot of trees there. Still quite a bit of trees, but that's less than there was. So I still haven't figured out how I'm going to fire things yet, because what I want to do is every time you move, you're depleting oxygen. So what I'm going to do in a kind of crazy anti-environmental way, I'm going to say if you chop down trees you get oxygen, because on this planet the trees are plentiful of oxygen. It's not Earth, it's fine, who cares, it's not our planet. So if we fire at a tree, so we can't go forward, and we fire at a tree, can I know that I'm hitting a tree? Okay, let me just check. So player movement, move north, move south, move. Okay, so that's the only thing that you can do is move north, move south. That's it. So inside the game controller, it's all about performing the move. So if the move is valid, then do this. Otherwise, determine what is blocking the player. Oh yeah, we also need to do moving in direction of baddie. Shoot first, ask questions later. Determine it's blocking the player. If it's a tree, fire at it. Each tree takes 3 hits. How do you know? Okay. Okay, so each tree takes 3 hits, and the key. I need to know how many values there are at that tree. I don't think I can have a compound key. Can I? Actually, maybe. Maybe if I had. Okay, what I was thinking was if I had, let's say I had a tree at position 6, and then I had 3 states of the tree, I could decrement it, and then when I hit a certain point, I could then just destroy the tree. But each hit takes 3. Each takes 3 hits, but that knocks off your oxygen level because it's the suit power. It's not really just oxygen. So every hit takes like a couple of points off your oxygen, as if you'd taken a step. Because the whole point is that you're running out of power. Okay. So determine what's blocking the player. So I'm going to find out what is at that position. So int object ID equals, and then this is going to be map desired position equals func current position, player position, and then that's going to be desired position dot x, desired position dot y. If object ID equals tree. Okay, right, here's what we do. So we multiply it by 100, and then we add the value to it. And then that gives us a valid, keeps us out of there. Okay, I think I know what we can do. Okay, so object ID equals 1, it's a tree. What I want to do is hash code equals, and then it's going to be desired position dot x times 100 plus desired position dot y, and then I'm going to say dictionary int tree health equals new dictionary int. I'm going to say, where are we? If contains key hash code. So if it doesn't contain that, I'm going to say tree health hash code equals 2. Else I'm going to subtract it from there, and then I'm going to say if tree health hash code equals 0, I'm going to replace it. I want to replace with floor, add to oxygen, and that's it. So I want to replace it with floor, so I want to say map desired position dot x, desired position dot y equals 0, make it a floor, and then I want to add to the oxygen, so I want to say player stats, what did I call it? Stats, I'd call it stats. Stats dot oxygen plus equals, and then it's going to be the tree oxygen value, which I don't know what it is, so I'm going to say tree oxygen. So if it takes you 3 hits and that knocks off that, you should get 5 back. I think that's fair enough. So let's put the constants up here. const int free oxygen equals 5. So we'll give you 5 back. And every time you hit that, I'm going to do stats.oxygen minus minus. So it's as if you've taken a step. Okay, so you've taken a step here, and that's subtracted there. And then inside oxygen, I need to do a little bit of logic because you can't have more than 100 oxygen. So I'm going to say oxygen equals value if oxygen greater than 100, oxygen equals 100. Okay. Because I don't want to go over 100. I just want it to be 100, and then you tell them that properties change and all that kind of stuff. Okay. So if you attack a tree, so if you're blocked, then what I want to do is I want to attack a tree. And then what else do I want to do? If it's a tree, fire at it. Each tree takes 3 hits. Put that there, and then tell them what's blocking player is in here. So now we should be able to chop down trees. Chop down trees, I skip and jump. I go to the lavatory. On Wednesdays I go shopping and have buttered scones for tea. Sounds nice. Okay, so let's block here. So we do 1, 2, 3. Oh, that didn't work. Should be killing trees here. Left, right, and centre. Who earns? So if object ID equals 1, but it's not 1, it's 2. Ha! You fool! Because 1 is space. This is why we need constants. Okay, so let's create a game constant. So you add here, and then we'll have this as constants. So I'm going to change this to public static read only int tree equals 1. Okay, so constants obj tree has to be 1. So constant actually let's make that public static class objects. Okay. So that's going to be constants dot objects dot let's make that tree. Okay, that's 2, and then I've done tree somewhere else here. That would be inside map generator. So we're going to return true for that, and then floor and obstacle is going to be there. Okay, so we need to have objects in here. So we're going to do public static read only int, and then this is going to be way below. Nope, that's going to be 1. Yep. I'm back. My wife made me a cup of coffee. No one codes like Gaston. Alright, so I had Where was I up to? I was doing constants, that's what I was doing. I was doing constants, then I ran away, which is kind of ironic. Okay, so the constants are all in there. So now when we attack a tree, we should chop it down after 3 goes. So that's not good. There we go. So we're chopping down trees. There we go. Okay, so maybe we want like an action or something for when we do that. So instead of doing this here, let's do an action table. Now it's going to be kind of hard coded, but it's it's not going to be too bad. Okay, so we want to do an action where it is. So we don't want all this. This is all bleh. I don't want that. I want to determine what's blocking the player. So I want to say. So if it's let's see if we want to I want to get all this in here. So this is going to be my attacking the tree type action, but it's based on this here. So I want to say inside my awake. I think I want to do this inside awake. And I want to have a dictionary here, dictionary, and then I want to have an integer and an action. And then these are going to be, what are they going to be? Object. Oh, let's call it interactions. New interactions, because we're going to be interacting with these things here. Okay. Sure. I'm going to say else if interactions dot contains key. That's going to be this is going to be block ID equals map desired position dot x desired position dot y. So if interactions contains key, actually let's do action interact equals null. If interactions dot try get value block ID out interact. So if we can interact with the object, I want to fire this action off, and I don't care what this is. I don't want this code in here, because all I want to do is I want to perform a move which is either a valid move or I'm performing an action against an object. So if the object is an enemy, I want to attack the enemy. Otherwise, I want to do something with it. Okay, so here's a desired position, and I am going to change that to. We'll have to do something for the mobs, but we'll come to that in just a sec, because they're going to be slightly different. I suppose we could just have them as static and then trees and stuff, but anyway. So if this is there, I'm going to do interact And that's it. I just want to call that action. I just want to call interact, and then all of this stuff, this then goes. But the interact, I want to pass that in the desired position dot x, desired position dot y, and I think that's all I want to pass in. Which means that my action here is actually going to be int. That's right, and then that there, and then action is going to be that. So we're going to pass in two parameters. So our argument is going to be an integer and an integer, so two integers, and then that's going to perform some kind of action on that object. And this is going to be int here as well. And so our interaction here is going to be, if it's a tree, we're going to add things to it. So awake, so this is going to be create interactions. I know it seems a bit kind of long-winded, but it kind of, makes a little bit of sense. Create interactions, and I've done it again. Oh, I can't. I can't get used to this. Okay, so what I did there was, if you remember the code from last time, I removed all of this here. Is anybody still with me in this Twitch stream? I don't know. I don't think so. No, it's just me. That's fine. Okay, so I really should look over at that monitor every once in a while. Okay, so I removed everything here. So what I'm going to do here is I'm going to create my interactions down here. I'm going to say interactions, and this is going to be constants dot objects dot tree equals, and then it's going to be x and y, and it's going to be all of this. And this is going to then be changed to x, and this is going to be changed to y, and this is going to be changed to x, and this is going to be changed to y. And we're going to do the same thing down here for x, and then the same thing down here for y. And we need to add another one here, and another one here. And that should be everything. Okay. So it's a little bit long-winded, but you get the gist here. Actually, I don't know why I've got that there and that there. That should be it, and then we need one here. That's it. Okay. So that's our interaction there, which is if it's a tree, fire at it. So we know it's a tree because we don't need to test it because we're already in here. And we don't need to determine if the object is that there, so we can get rid of all of that and we can just have this. So now we can just determine if it's the tree health is to be changed. So we don't need that there. I'm missing, I need this one here. Yeah, that's it. Okay, and then this one goes to here. Oh, then it's a semicolon there, that's why. Okay. So here is my method which takes in an x and a y parameter. It's exactly the same as the code we had above there, but a lot simpler because we don't need to test anything. We just need to know that we're saying this is a tree, and if this is a tree, then we're going to pass these values into this function here, into this action, I should say. And this action is going to determine whether we've already got that tree, and if we do, then we set the tree health to be 2, so we've already attacked it, and then we subtract it by minus there again, and then we subtract the number of oxygen every time we hit that. In fact, the oxygen is going to get hit the first time down there, so both of these take out oxygen, and then if the tree health is equal to 0, we replace it with the floor, and then we add our oxygen constant value there. So we'll do these interactions for other objects as well. Okay, and then for here, all we're doing is we have our interactions. So we've created our interactions inside the awake method. So if we have an interaction for that block ID, then we can interact with it in this method. So maybe we can have like interactions is for like stationary objects, and maybe we can have one for other objects as well. So let's check this out and see if we've got if it's still working. Okay, so if I go here, do 1, 2, 3. It's still not working. So that's the desired position, X and Y. Interact desired position, X and Y. Just pass by that in there. X and Y. Let me set a breakpoint here. So this is only going to get called if we interact with a tree. So if I press down, that means I interact with a tree, and it says hash code is 50-50. 50-50 chance this works. So we set that to be true, 2, and then we subtract from oxygen, and then we check to see if the tree health is that, so that's not true, and then we go down again, we press down again, and then we see that the hash code for this is 50-50, so we subtract 1 from the hash code, so our tree health is now down to 1, and tree health is not equal to 0, okay, and then we press down again, so we come in here and we see that the hash code is that, 1, and then we subtract that, and then we make it a floor, so 50-50. Okay, and then oxygen is equal to that plus that, and it still doesn't remove it from there. So I wonder if if our where's our game controller? So our game controller is passing this in here. Let's see what we're getting for this. If I press down and I do block ID is desired position, so player position is 50-45, desired position is 50-44. Block ID is 2. Okay. Block ID is 2, interact is that, so interact is there, so desired position is 50. Oh, X. What a buffoon! Okay. And then I'm going to change that to desired position. Rename function desired position. So move is valid, and I'm going to change that to desired position. Then that gets us those values there. Okay. So now we should be chopping down trees. Cut down trees. There we go. us. Chopping down trees like a bandit. Okay. And of course we can't move any direction other than our desired direction. So we need to have some kind of explosion or something played when we hit a tree. So maybe we just spawn one at that position there. But we kind of need to know what position that's at. So what am I going to do for that one? Okay, I think we can do that inside the render to give it some kind of interaction anyway. Otherwise, it needs to have like a kind of explosion. So I keep walking and walking and walking without touching. And then I start chopping down trees. You see that I get my oxygen back. Okay, that's good. Okay. So I want to have right. I want to interact there. Probably want to play a sound as well. And okay. So. Right, let me think. What to do next? I don't have much time. I'm actually going out in a bit. I think I can actually implement in all of this. Alright. Okay, so we've done the trees thing. So that gives us oxygen. I think maybe constants. I'm going to have public static class energy, public static overlay, int movement loss, cost. I'm going to change that to cost. I'm going to change that to 5 because every time you take 5 steps, I think you should lose that there. So if I do player statistics and then let's change that to constants dot energy dot movement cost, and then that way we can change that anytime. It just changes it automatically and everything, and it means something as well. So every movement cost steps, we subtract 1 from oxygen, and that's it. In fact, we can even simplify this and say oxygen is that, and then we can say else if oxygen is less than 0, oxygen equals 0. So we don't need to, we just need to subtract that from there. So that's it. Decrement oxygen there, and then in fact we could probably do that inside our steps, inside here, which is probably a better way to do it, but let's do it this way. It's fine. Okay, so our movement cost means now that when we move, and I'm just doing this so that I can show you the back end of the mug. So when we move, we lose more energy. So you see that we're losing more energy every time we So that's good. There's an awful lot of trees though. I think maybe we want to have them just kind of spawn randomly throughout the game. So if you're away in one side of the map, then it spawns it randomly on the other side of the map. But maybe that's a nice to have. Lots of trees here. Okay. Okay, so that's movement across there. And where else do I want to do? Maybe let's do our explosion thing. Okay, so I will do. How do we simulate explosion? Let's do. This is way below. This is sand. So let's do duplicate. Okay, sand copy and explosion. Okay, so let's look at explosions then. Pixel explosions. Images. Yeah, it's kind of nice, that one. Kind of like that one. Okay, so I want to have. I want to merge layers. I want a new layer. And then I'm going to have kind of red. That's good enough. And then I'm going to have a brush. It's going to be normal. Sure. None of this has to be perfect. This is just temporary graphics, but I just want something to be in here just now. So I'm going to do this, and then I'm going to do like a kind of orangey color, or a yellowy color, yellowy. It's more like a kind of pepperoni pizza than an actual explosion, which is, you know, the desired effect I was going for. So yeah, that's going to look great. Okay, and okay, so that's the first explosion. Explosion 1. Okay, and then I'm going to do fire export legacy, and then I'm going to export that to not debug environment, and this is going to be let's call that explosions, explosion 1. Okay, and then what I'm going to do is I'm going to duplicate this image, explosion 2, and all I'm going to do is I'm going to scale this down to about there, and put it there, and do that, and save that as explosion 2. Yep. Export. Save for web legacy. Save. Explosion 2. And then I'm going to do the exact same thing again. I'm going to duplicate the image. 3. And I'm going to scale that down again. And that's going to be my explosion. Explosion 3. Yep. Export. Save. Explosion 3. So really, actually, what I want to do is I should actually export the legacy. Save explosion 3. Yep. and then do the same thing here, just in case we want to export the legacy, save to replace, and then same thing for 1. Export save legacy, save. Okay, so that's big enough, I think. Okay. And then over here, where are we? No, that's OBS. Where's Unity? Here we go. Okay, so explosions, they're all going to be quarter pixels as well. So that's going to be 0.25 and apply that. And then the floor renderer, so we'll get floor center here. I'll also get the map generator and then block renderer. I'm going to have public sprite explosion. Okay. And then my explosion is going to be all of these 3 here. So that's going to be explosion 1, explosion 2. That looks alright. 2, and then explosion 3. So 1, 2, and 3. Okay. And then when you fire on it, what I want it to do is I also want it to spawn an explosion. So that's going to be done inside the game controller. Where's our game controller? Let's close all these windows here. Close all but this. So inside our game controller, I also want to do, every time you interact with this, I want to do renderer. It's not renderer, what did I call it? Call it block renderer. Block renderer dot spawn explosion x, y, and that's it. That's all I do. So I spawn the explosion at that point. I'm going to create a method in here, jump to here, and I'm going to make that public. In here. And then I'm going to say I don't want to go back this. I want to have that explosion follow that object. So I need to find out the object at that position, and then I need to add a child object there, which is, oh, that's how I can do it. Okay, that's how I'm going to do it. Okay, so spawn explosion. So I'm going to create a child object that I'm going to kill once I'm finished there. Okay, so that's going to be start coroutine, and then it's going to be do explosion int x int y. Okay, so that's my coroutine there for the explosion, and then that is going to be my enumerator, which is going to be down here because it's private. I like to keep all the private things down there, so that is going to be our I don't know what happened there. Okay, int and int. Okay, so that's going to be our value at that position, because we're only ever drawing at that object. So we know the squares. So our squares are calculated. Where are we? Where's the weight? Yeah, here we go. Index is that. Okay. So our index value is this. X. So that's our index. That's in there. Okay, maybe I can't do it this way. Okay, the way I wanted to do it, I can't do it that way. Okay. So I want to have it on that position, but I don't want to have it can't do it that way. Yeah. Okay. So the map, I need to have a map with those values in there. So I think I'm going to have to do the same thing again for okay, let me think. What if I did what am I thinking? Okay, what I want to do is I want to create an object that just spawns an explosion, but it's got to be at that position, and it lasts for like a third of a second or something, and then I want to add it to there. Now, unfortunately, I have a window into the grid, and I don't know exactly where. I know where you are on the grid. I know the X and Y position, which is why I can render it to here, because this is the offset to the center. So the current position is offset from that X and Y value. So I know the current position. So what I need to do is I need to then decide what the current position is of there and then show it at that point. Okay, so I want to say game object geo equals new game object geo.transform.position equals, and then this is gonna be geo.transform.position equals, and I need to know the index value here, so I need to do my index here. So index is that, and then var sprite equals that. So that's x, and that's y. So x, y. Index is that multiplied by that, but of course that's not exactly where it is. That's the actual position there, but I need to know from where it is in the current position. So okay, let me think. So my position is here, and I'm there. So I've just attacked something here, so I need to know the difference between here and here. Okay. But I can't link it to the index. This is the problem I've got, is I can't link it to the index. So what I need to do is I just need to abandon that idea. So I've got to do go equals that, and then I've got to say go bar sprite equals go dot add component sprite renderer sprite dot sprite equals explosions 0. Well, that's fine. And I can do while actually int frame 0 while frame is less than 3. Sprite dot sprite equals explosions frame new yield return new, wait for seconds, and we're going to make that 0. I don't want it to be 3. 0.6, I think. Yeah. I don't know. Wait for that, and then do frame plus, and then the game object I need to add to a dictionary, and I'm going to say that the game object is hidden. So geo.enabled set active false. So I want it to be set. I don't want it to render, just in case. And then I want to say maybe actually I do want to do some stuff in here actually. So maybe the setup is going to be that. So this is going to be game object go. So our game object is going to be put in here, and then we do game explosion go. Okay. Set active true, because it's going to be on screen because the player's on screen, and it's going to be sprite dot sprite equals explosion 0. So set active to be true, and then what we do is we then add it to a dictionary. Okay, so we have dictionary. Actually, let's have dictionary int, and then we have game object go. So this is going to be our explosions. So I can't call it explosions, got to call it something else. I don't know, it's called explosion, that's fine. Explosion instances, let's call it that. So that's our explosion instances, and then this is going to be generated by our, so we have a get hash code here, but I think we could do something a little bit. Where's the get hash code? Where's get hash code? Okay, so here's the hash code, which is the X and Y values. So I think what we do is we have helpers. So let's have how can I do that with 2? I don't think I can. Okay, I'm just going to have that as there. So let's call this hash. And we'll have a static class, and I will have public int get hash code y return x times 100 plus y. That's going to be static as well. The family baked yeast. So So let's get hash code there, and then I'm going to, instead of saying hash code there, I'm now going to do hash.get hash code xy. And I'm going to use that everywhere because then it's going to be consistent, and we're not going to run into any issues here. So there's our block renderer here, and we have our instances there. And then what we do is we do explosion instances get hash code x and y equals go. Okay. And then what we say is we check to see what the value is based on the x and y object. So if we do int x equals, and then that, int y equals y, so we grab all these x and y's, and then call that x2, y2, y2, x2. And that gives us our square there. So what we can then do is we can then say if, okay, let's do game object explosion exploder equals null if explosion instances dot contains key, and then it's going to be get hash dot get hash code xxyy out exploder take two arguments. What? Oh, try get value. So if it does contain that, what I want to do is I want to say exploder.transform.position equals sprite.transform equals I'm going to do it under here, squares index dot transform dot position. So I want to put it in the same position that I have in there, but I want it to be the front. So I want to then say that our sprite dot z order sorting order equals 50. So I want it to be above everything else because it's going to be in the same level. So I want it to make it out there. And then after that's going to be go.get component sprite renderer is that, and we can cache that sprite equals that. We'll do sprite.sprite, and after that we can do dictionary, what do we call it? Explosion remove, and then the key, which is going to be hash.get hash code xy, and that's going to remove the key from there. And then what we should do is we should do destroy game object at the end of it, and yeah, I think that's okay. Okay, so when we attack a tree, we should get an explosion now. Chances of it happening, 50-50, 25-25, crash. Well, time to rescue is not working anymore. Oh no, there you go. Oh, what is it? That should scale. I guess we need to fix that as well. Okay, so let's go attack a tree. Okay, so that's not, well, spawn explosion XY, so that's not quite worked the way it should work. Spawn explosion XY. So why is that not working? So that should be the desired position. Let's put a breakpoint there, and then let's put a breakpoint here. Attach to Unity. Okay, so the X and Y is 50, 46. So 50, 46. We know that. 50, 46. Okay. So the hash code is 5046, which is right. 5046. And then 5046 is equal to 2. Remove that. And then spawn explosion at 5046. Okay. But it's the current position. That's why. Okay, well, we can't do that then. So what I need to do is I need to have class explosion public game object get private set public int x get set public int y get private set public explosion game object geo int x int y, and then game object equals geo x equals x y equals y, and then instead of game object we're going to make that our explosion, and then we're going to say equals new explosion game object xy, and down here we do explosion exploder, and then this is going to be game object dot transform equals that. Okay, so that's fine, and then equals x. So the current position plus x plus y. Okay, so if I'm at -4, that means it's x is there. Oh, right. Okay, but it's not that square. I didn't have to do that. Well, I've done it now, so it doesn't really matter. Okay, so that's the x and y coordinates. Okay, right, well I don't need that code then. Let me just comment it out. Actually, let's just undo can always put it back in later if we need it. So we don't need that. And that's all good. And then at this point here, I don't want that. I want to find out the index of not x and y, but where this is in relationship to, because x and y is sprite and sprite index equals that at that position. But I want to find out if that position is valid. Cache code there. Instead of squares transform position, is that the right one? That is the right one. Why is that not working? Let me use that. Huh, that's a bit of a bug. That should disappear, but as soon as you move it, then disappears. Because I'm not updating the map, that's why. Okay, so maybe the map needs to update faster. Okay, so the game controller only updates when you update the direction. So set current position, that does the update, and then maybe I want to have an update map as well. That's got an update map, okay. So otherwise, we'll update the map. So now, fix all compilation errors. What? 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 This is the worst. I'm ending this stream now. Right, there we go. Come on. Okay. So now we go 1, 2, 3. I fixed it. There you go. There we go. That looks alright, that explosion. Yeah, it looks alright. I mean, it's not, you know, the best explosion in the world, but it's good. This is actually quite enjoyable. Probably not for you because all you're hearing is clicky key sounds, but yeah, this is actually pretty good. I'm actually looking forward to finishing this game. I mean, other than the fact the trees look like, well, quite frankly, they look like Sideshow Bob. So I'm just chopping down trees. So I think maybe what we'll do is we'll give you 10 minutes, I think, because the game's, yeah, I don't think we're going to be able to finish this game here. So I think as well, if you're just standing idly, then I think your oxygen should go down as well. Because right now, uh, nothing happens to you when you just sit around here. So I think what I'm going to do is inside my game controller, which is getting way too big. I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to add an update. So void start, and I'm going to do start coroutine reduce oxygen, and my reduce oxygen is going to be a private enum. Enumerator, reduce oxygen, and this is going to be while stats.oxygen is greater than 0. Return new wait for seconds, and I'm going to do this as constant dot energy dot oxygen loss. So I'm going to call that oxygen loss, and I'm going to add that's right, enumerator. Yeah, there you go. So oxygen loss is public static int oxygen loss equals 1. Because we're going to lose 1 every time you just sit around and do nothing. You lose 1 piece of oxygen. So when what do you want? Using generic type, I never recruit for some type argument. I'm not using that. Did I do generic collections? What? Okay. So now if you just sit around here, your oxygen slowly ticks away. Should do anyway. It's not. Because I haven't stats.oxygen mix. So oxygen losses, I think we should make that a float, and we'll make that every 1.5 seconds. So every 1.5 seconds. So it's not quite in time with the clock. So yeah, here we go. There's your oxygen going away. So you need to go and chop down trees and do all that kind of cool stuff. So you're basically sort of forced into, because if you just wander around, your oxygen's going to start depleting like crazy, and you're not going to be able to manage to finish the game there. There we go. Kill some of these trees, getting some of the oxygen back. Well, maybe we do need more trees. And yeah, there you go. Circuit trees. And then we probably need to have some kind of like pew pew shot type thing. Okay. What have we got? Okay. So is this all that we can do today? What have we got here? So let's see if that's the map. Open. YouTube, Ludum Dare, ideas bin, that was us. So the overall thought, I want to edit that. Open with paint. So the overall thought, so we can get rid of this. This has been abandoned. This bit here, so this is just garbage. But this is the sort of overall thought that I sort of started off with at the very the start of the jam, which is coming up for a long time ago now. And the idea is that you've got this little guy over here inside his world, and he has like a fog of war. He has all his stats up here, and then I had TR, so that's time to rendezvous, I think, or time to rescue, I think it was. Yeah, there they go, time to rescue, which is 28 days. I think I'm going to pull that down to like 10 hours, but that which is going to be 10 minutes elapsed game time, so that when you're playing the game, you have a little bit of you got to get your kind of skates on to complete the game. So I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to end the stream just now because I've got things to do. Unfortunately, this weekend I've got other commitments, so I'm gonna end the stream there. Thank you. In fact, I'm gonna put it to the second one here. What am I doing? 2, yeah. I'm gonna end the stream here, and I'm gonna bid you adieu. And you guys have yourself a fantastic Saturday. Thank you very much for tuning in. If you did tune in, if you want to check out my YouTube channel, it is down on the left there, just right there. And if you want to check out my Twitter, it's right there as well. I don't tweet as much as I used to. In fact, I don't really do social media as much as I used to. You know, things are what they are. It is what it is. So thank you very much, and Belle says thanks as well. And I'll catch you in the next video. So, cheers.